Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be building the Realacc X210, the V plus 6K carbon one. I mean, I don't really see any difference except the top plate, and possibly the carbon's a bit better, the carbon fiber. I mean, yeah, carbon fiber. So, that's the frame I'm going to be using, obviously, and I'm going to be using the DYS Fire motors. This is going to be the first time I ever use these, and they're the 2300 kV version, as you can see right there. Now for PDB and FC, I was going to use a normal PDB and a SPF3 flight controller, but then I changed my mind because we don't have much room in here. So I decided to go for a Diatone PDB FC. This is going to be a very nice clean build, I believe. And let me just show you how we're going to be soldering in the ESCs. So ESC motor 1 is right there, so positive, signal, ground. And then motor 2, ground, signal, positive, and then 3 and 4, same thing. And even the layouts on the Beta Flight, clean flight layout, so that's very good. This will have the USB popping up to the right for us for easy access, which is also good. For ESCs, I'm going to be using the 35 amp Racerstar MS series. I like these, I really love these, and I'm using them on all my quads now. Never had desync and never had one blow out on me, so I'm abusing them. It's not that I'm not abusing them, and they're just holding up just fine, so these are very good. For transmitter, I'm going to use the TX526, the Eachine TX526. It's a 40 channel, and it's a selectable 25, 200, and 600 milliwatt. And I've used this before on a Jeb 130 build, and the size, I love the size, and it's just running perfect without any problems. So we're going to be using this. And receiver, don't know yet. And for camera, I'm going to be using the Foxeer XAT600. Unfortunately, it's still not here, so I'm just going to build it without the camera now. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and put the motors on, double-sided, use double-sided tape to hold the ESCs in place, and put a little electrical tape below that, because these are not very good, and I need to get better ones. And now what I'm going to do is, I believe I'm going to start with the motors to the ESCs. So it's going to be like this is the back. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything's correct. Battery, perfect. So always on every build I've had motors 2 and 3. Just reverse the first and last wire on the motors onto the ESC. These are direct. Motors 1 and 4 are direct connections from motor to ESC, and 2 and 3 are reversed. So I like to do that to get that out of the way. These DYS Fires come with very long motor wires, which is awesome, but unfortunately we're just going to cut them right here, so it's not that awesome anymore. So anyways, I moved them back as far as possible to leave some as much wire of the motor as possible. So yeah, so I'm going to start soldering this one. I will show you guys how to solder this one, and then we're gonna move to motor 2 where the wires are crossed. We're gonna cross them, and then for 3 and 4 I'm just gonna skip over that, and then we can go to the next step, which is soldering the ESCs to the flight controller. So yeah, let me prepare everything so we get started. Alright, so the soldering station is ready now. Let's remove that. Now, as you can see, they're in order right here. I believe it's L1, L2, L3, which is 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter, you don't need to know this right now. So, what we're going to do is, since this is motor 1, okay, it's on the back right, which is 1, and again, 2, 3, 4. 2 and 3 reversed, 1 and 4 straight connection. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these to length, and this time I'm going to cut them a little bit, just a little bit more. Alright, so, okay, cut them a bit too much now. Maybe we should cut a little bit more. Let's cut a little bit more. I think that's fine. Yeah, just have them bend a little. So, or should we do it all the way? I think this is good. So now we're gonna strip them, obviously. So let's strip. Again, it's very difficult on camera. There's one. There's two. And there's three. So, and it's always recommended to twist them because you don't want any hairs sticking out and touching another spot, which can make very big problems for you. And you'll never know what that problem really is. If it's under tape and heat shrink and all that good stuff. So I'm actually going to remove a little bit more. These are a bit too, that's alright, let's see. So what I do is I will put solder on the tabs right now, on the pads, and then I'll put solder on the wires, and then we're just going to solder them in place. So, and again, these are going to be just a straight flush connection, nothing reversed. So let's do it this way. Let's move the wires. Okay, maybe I should get a little flux now. Alright. My dead brush. Alright. I really gotta replace the head on this brush. So, there we go. We got some nice flux on it. Let's get the solder. Okay. Alright. Let's solder the tip a bit. Get it nice and fresh, as you can see. Alright. Now the sticker, and I just burned myself. Now the this sticker here, if you want, you want to pull it back, but be careful pulling it back because components are very fragile sometimes. And don't forget, this is Chinese also, so that plays a big role. So, all right, so there we go. Moved it back now, and let's start soldering. There's one. There's two. The motor wires are silicone, which is also very, very good. So let's see if we can do them here. So while they're just hanging off, it's a bit difficult, but there you go. There's one. Let's do this one now. There's two. Put a little bit too much on it. That's because we didn't clean the tip of the iron. Okay, just check if any little extra hairs are sticking out, and I don't see any, and it seems pretty good. So, alright, so there we go. Now we're just gonna solder them in place. And what I like to do is get these right here, and they have this locking mechanism. I think they're called hemostats. I still have not checked it. So, so now I'm gonna take a look at this, and we're gonna have to cut some of the wire, some of the soldered wire, because as you can see, it's pushing up more. So, and I don't want this hanging out like this, so I'm gonna trim a bit off of that right there. And just take it nice and easy. Don't rush this, you know, because then you just make more work for yourself that you really don't need. Alright, so we're gonna hold it in place, and let's clean the tip because that could make problems. Alright, that's perfect. And it just goes right in. Hold it for a little bit, make sure that the pad gets nice and hot. Alright, that's a perfect solder right there. Nice and shiny and round. So let's move to the next one. Okay, so we're going to have to obviously trim some of this. I have to trim a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can see. Perfect. So I'm going to change to these, are better. I'm really hoping the camera's staying in focus because I'm just not looking through the camera while I'm doing this. Alright. That's good. Nice and shiny. Now the last one. We also gotta trim a bit more off of this. Now I'm still not worrying about the heat shrink because the other side is not soldered in yet, so that's totally fine right now. Okay, just get a good grip on this. There you go. I'm gonna trim a little bit more off of this one. Alright, there you go. That one was good, but it could have been better, but it'll do. So let me show you how that turned out. So it's very good. Even the last one's pretty good. So this way we don't have anything running out, and they're holding very well, very, very well. All right, put your sticker back on. There you go. And the color theme is coming pretty nice, but unfortunately you're not going to see these because I don't have any clear heat shrink. Alright, so now we're going to do motor 2. We just finished motor 1, now motor 2. Motor 2, like I said before, we're going to have to cross the wires, and I will show you what I mean if you guys don't know what I mean. Okay, so okay, that's about good. I'm going to cut it to here. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but when you push down on them, make sure they're in the correct order. See, from the manufacturer, they're supposed to come in a nice line that organizes itself back to how it's supposed to be. So right now, as we can see, there we go. They just organize themselves. So this is the first one, second one, last one. Now, what you got to do is what we did on motor 1 is we took them straight, but on this one, what I do is I take the first and last and just switch them over like this, and you're totally fine. That's how I do it, and that's how it's been working for me, and that's how most people do it also. So let's prepare the pads now again, or you know what, let's strip the wires first. Okay, actually we're gonna need to cut a little bit more. Okay, that's just perfect. Now we just gotta strip them. So basically, let me just show you guys. That's almost perfect. So we don't want to strip that too much. Actually, this is gonna go on this side. So, and And this one's gonna go here. Let me just double check this before we continue. That's just barely gonna go there. Okay, let's start with this one then. Alright, well, I should have measured again, but it's totally fine. But now we just don't have room for error. We have to make this strip of this wire as small as possible, but not too small. So this should be good. Yeah, it should be perfect. Alright, this one now. Maybe a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more. Okay, that's gonna be perfect. And this one, not as much, but still much. Oh, maybe too much. Fuck it, we already cut it. Alright, now we just gotta twist them. I should have used the right hand. Sorry about that, that was the door and the wind's just blowing. And it just closed it. So, okay, all our wires are fine now. Let's get a little flux. And again, you don't have to do this with flux, but I do just because it makes my life easier. And it will make yours easier also. I want to remove this because I don't want that solder to just grab some of this and get contaminated and it just looks ugly. So, flux is your best friend. Start by heating up the pads and adding solder to them. We don't have to worry about the wires burning since they are since they're silicone. Okay. Let's do the wires now. Let's do one at a time. We'll start with this one. Okay. One. Usually I would have the some kind of fan sucking all this stuff, but it's very loud and it's just going to be very noisy and it's going to be very annoying on the recording, so I did without it this time. Okay, they're all done now. Now let's start with this one since it's the shortest. So we're going to cross, this was the first wire, so we're going to cross it to here. And make sure when you do this, all the ESCs are facing the right side up. You don't want this one to be upside down, because on the back side there's also pads, so you could easily mistake that. So make sure they're all, like, at least just go by the sticker. They're all facing up, then follow that. Okay. So we're going to start with the hard one, which is the first one from this side of the motor, there, and we're going to connect it to here. Get our little hemostat thingy-majiggers. And okay, I'm going to change the orientation now since I'm right-handed. Alright, make sure you guys can see. Alright, just put them on top of each other, and then I just come in and heat it up from the top. There we go, one down, two to go. And this is the middle one. Middle one will go obviously to the middle. And then last will go to last. Let's do the middle one now. So let's do that now. We have to trim it off. Trim some of this excess. There. See? Sorry about that. I'll trim a little bit more off. It's gonna be good. So now we're taking the middle wire from the motor and we're going to put it on the middle part of the ESC. Okay. And I'm soldering at 350 degrees Celsius, not on 400 because these are small pads. I'm going to cut some of this off too. That's perfect. Okay. And that is perfect now. So we got motors 1 and 2 finished. Now we gotta do 3 and 4. I'll do those off camera now. And basically it's just the same thing. Now since we finished motor 2 crossed, we have to cross motor 3, which is this one. And this one we do a straight pass with the wires. So let me get that out of the way and then we can look at our next step. Alright guys, so I just finished soldering all the motors in now, the other 2, and like we said, just one more time, just to be clear, 2 and 3 are reversed, 1 and 4 are direct solder, just straight pass. Now I'm looking at this PDB and the ESC wires. So first thing we're going to want to do is, I'm not going to ground the signal here, so I'm going to cut it flush as flush as possible. I can desolder these, but I just don't want to mess with that liquid black tape since they have that on there. So I'm just gonna cut the ground as close as possible to here. Now for the ESCs, signal and power, the PDB comes with holes, not just pads. So, and it's good on both sides. Let it focus. Alright, good. So what I'm thinking of doing now actually is I'm gonna strip the wire and bring it from the top to the bottom and then solder it down here. So it'll be going in it, in that, and then I solder it. I think right now this is the best way. So we're gonna try that now. Let's just get the right. Okay. So I'm gonna cut it right about here. I hope it'll fit. So here's the first one. We're gonna do it together. And let's just make sure this is motor 1. Yes, and this is the back because this is where the LEDs go. So this is motor 1. See, 1, and then there's 2. So 1. So we're gonna start with power, which is positive. So let's strip that. How many gauge? What gauge is this? It is 16 gauge. All right. So let's do it by the book right now. I think that should be good. Maybe I should have done a little bit more. I'm not sure, but so this way it gives me the option to actually remove it, and yeah, that'll fit just fine. Yeah, so that's how I'm gonna solder this one in. Yep, let's do that. If you regret it later, then that's a different story. So. Alright, so Let me get the helping hands here now, since I need help. Alright. And be careful with the helping hands because you could easily damage components. Happened to me before. Not a good feeling. Alright, so let's try this out. Where is the solder? There it is. So I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. So let's just clean this. Make sure it's nice and clean. Okay. Alright. Took a while to heat up the pad, but it did at the end. So that's a very nice, clean solder job. So let's see how this is going to be. Actually, it's pretty nice. So that's actually, look at that. If that wasn't ripped. It's pretty awesome. I really like it like this. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same for the rest. So let's do the signal now. Now the only problem I see is when removing it. So in a bit we're gonna have to be doing that side. So that side probably have to be a little bit longer so we can hold it up and solder it from the bottom. Or maybe we could solder it up, I don't know, but we will figure it out. Oh, by the way, I used higher standoffs here because the battery straps always rip with me, and it's a pain to actually get it through. So the higher, the easier it is to put new battery straps through. So that's what I've put a little bit higher standoffs here. So let's do now the ground. Oh no, the signal. We're gonna do signal now. So let's get the signal wire. Okay, let's clear it from the top. Now let's just undo them. Okay. So white is signal and black is ground. So we want to make sure we cut that down there as clean as possible, and at the same time we don't want to cut anything else. And make sure that it can't touch anything else. There we go, that's clean. Alright, so let's cut enough wire. I'll cut a little bit more because usually these tend to have problems. I wish they would go with silicone here on the signal pins. It would just be so nice and clean and flexible. So I'm not going to solder it before putting it through the hole. I'm going to actually put it in first. Let's just drop that. Nope. It's going to need a little bit of work here. So okay. Let's try to do it without the helping hands. I just noticed a little problem here. I think we should do solder this before, because there's a huge chance of it just leading over to the positive of the pad, and that's just going to get messy, and then we're going to have to clean that up. And to be honest, let's just do it this way right now. Let's cut some of this off. Okay. Alright. Okay, that's good. Alright. So let me show you here. There is the signal, and here was the positive. So we're going to solder that in right now. and I cannot get any closer than this for the time being. So let's solder that in right now. It's wire, it's not solder. Clean it up. Clean up the tip on little places like this. That should be good. Let's take a look at it. This side seems good. And this seems perfect. Alright. There we go. We have our first set of ESCs. And then I'm gonna do ground now. Same thing as power. The power to the ESC. So cut it up to here. We'll strip it on 16 gauge. Maybe we should strip a little bit more. Okay. Twisting the wire. I'm feeling like see, you gotta really be careful with this. You don't want any of those little strands of wire or copper sticking out anywhere. It'll be a nightmare. We're just gonna tap it with a little bit of, just a tiny bit of solder. Come on. I feel like the heat's not transferring. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's better now. Okay, that's good. Probably cut some off of it, or we can do that after we solder. So it's soldered in now. Make sure you heat up the pad. Yep. That wasn't a good job at all. It's very difficult on camera. I think that did it. I think that's going to be good. Yep, there we go. See, it's not laning as flat as this one is because we added solder before putting it through. So the solder just got soaked inside and it made this part a little bit harder here. So that's why it's popping up a little bit. But it's not a problem, you know, it's still flexible, but that's just a note right there. I'm happy with this, and now I'm going to do the rest. And it's just the same process. I'm going to skip over this, and then we're going to come back and do the battery. And after the battery, we will see how we're going to run the VTX and camera power. So let me get that out of the way and be right back.